Yeah, yeah,
All right.
it's been interesting.
Yeah, I bet. All right. In three, two, one. Ladies and gentlemen, whoa, whoa, whoa. All right.
Sorry.
In three, two, one. Ladies and gentlemen, a warm welcome to Ramona Pascual, the only fighter from bollocks. Sorry. Three, two, one. Ladies and gentlemen, a warm welcome to Ramona Pascual, the only fighter from Hong Kong in the UFC, currently in action at UFC 275 against Jocelyn Edwards. You're in Singapore right now and keeping American time, which is wild. So it's about 2 o'clock in the morning over there. How's it going?
No, yeah, it's going well. We got in a couple days ago. And yeah, just really to acclimate to the climate, not so much the time zone, because our day started two hours ago already. So we're sort of keeping to like be in bed by 3 and like up at midnight kind of situation because I'll be fighting at like 6:30 in the morning over here, local time. So yeah, we're basically staying on US time and having to kind of do that for the whole of fight week.
How's preparation been? Because you lost your first fight in the UFC, but it was super short notice and far from ideal circumstances for you.
Yeah, it feels good to have a full camp. Definitely a lot different. Definitely able to really work on specific things a lot more, and just really the conditioning that goes into preparing for, a fight, and the shark tanks and all the additional specific work that needs to get done in a fight camp, and specific to whoever it is I'm fighting. Yeah, I mean, a lot of time to prepare for the last one. I just come back from holiday, and I think I was training for a couple of weeks, which was fine. I mean, I think the benefit to that was my body was well rested. With a camp, it's sort of like you're really, really pushing your body for such a long period of time. But, you're also sort of designing the program so that you're peaking at the right time.
How do you feel about Jocelyn Edwards? She's dangerous, but she's coming off a couple of losses. Do you see her as beatable? Do you see yourself kind of imposing your will here?
I think she's a great challenge for me, even though she is coming off 2 losses. Look at the girls that she's fought. I wouldn't say that, they're like what, top 10, I think. So I think, yeah, she's definitely dangerous, but I think I've got a really good shot, and I think I think it's a really good matchup personally. And it's definitely going to be entertaining.
What's the most important thing to you about this fight that you're looking to show when it's all said and done? What do you need to have achieved here?
Composure, fight IQ, being able to make decisions in, the high pressure environment and adapting to what she's going to give me, because you can watch as many fights as someone has had in the past, but they can be totally different coming into the cage. Everyone has had time to work in the off season, work on their mistakes, sharpen up on weaknesses. So I'm expecting the best version of her. I'm expecting she might do things that she hasn't shown yet. And I'm just going to flow with it and be able to adapt and react accordingly.
How important is the result here? Are you fighting for your future, do you think, in terms of the UFC?
I think you always are, especially being new to the organization, when they've cut people for 2 losses. So yeah, I mean, at this level, I think everyone's kind of just fighting for their contracts. So there's always going to be a lot on the line. And I think for her and I mean, we're both, I feel like, on the same boat with just coming off losses and then needing to really make this, put a stamp on this. And so, yeah, I think that's just going to make for a really entertaining fight.
Do you think that that's when you are capable of producing your best, when your back's against the wall, when you need a result? Will we see the best come out of you, do you think, in Singapore?
I think so. I think so. I think the added pressure, um, and also the reason why we do what we do, it is always high pressure, not just in fights, but also even in the gym. So I think it requires a certain kind of individual to really thrive under that, to really make it in this sport. And yeah, it just has to really make you.
It's very cool to see the UFC back in Asia after such a long time and for them to do a pay-per-view as well, stacked one like this. What does it mean to you? It's not, of course, in Hong Kong, but not a million miles away from home, and maybe easier for people to come see you. Like, what does it mean to you to be on this show?
Oh, it's a huge deal. Obviously, Hong Kong is a neighbor of Singapore. I've spent a lot of time in this city growing up. So everything just feels familiar to me. A lot of like the streets out here, the climate feels familiar, the people, the language, and it's a big deal. First show in Asia since the pandemic, and probably as close to home as I'll ever get to fight for the UFC. So it was definitely a very big opportunity that I didn't want to pass up, to be able to represent Asian MMA, at a time like this. The only, you know, thing is a lot of the people that I know would have come see me in from Hong Kong can't because there's still a quarantine over there. So it's sort of like no one can really take a weekend trip, in which like I know a lot of people could have and would have if there wasn't all these restrictions with the borders and everything. So that's a shame. However, I'm going to take what I can get, and I'm in a really good position to make a statement here.
How do you feel about the whole Road to UFC initiative? I feel like you trained at the institute in Shanghai a few years back, right? And you're where all these guys want to be. Is it cool to see a lot of Asian talent getting their opportunity?
Absolutely. They were supposed to have the Asia Contender Series in 2020, so a couple of years delayed, and I think this is sort of mimicking that, the Road to UFC. And it's been really hard, just that year that I was there in Asia, and then obviously I decided to leave because things are working out, and I'm now benefiting from that decision. But knowing how things have been for my teammates back in Shanghai, and with the quarantines and the lockdowns and the restricted ability to really travel for competition, or even domestically within China, has been really difficult. So it's a real shame that things have become stagnant and careers have had to really take pause. And all these young developing fighters that are sort of in this prime circumstance, or like prime situation to really grow and develop and gain experience, are kind of having to sit on the sidelines. So yeah, I'm just really excited that a lot of my teammates are going to get this opportunity to compete here in Singapore.
It's a really exciting night for the female fighters. There's 4 female fights on the card, and 3 of arguably the greatest female fighters ever. Are any of those women an inspiration to you, like Valentina, Zhang Weili, Joanna?
Yeah, absolutely. I've been following their careers for so long. They're the pioneers of the sport. They've been doing it long before the UFC added the women's division, and brought it into the forefront of mainstream sports. And yeah, big deal. I've met Zhang Weili a few times in China. I remember I was fighting in this regional promotion, and then she happened to be there, and she's always just been incredibly respectful and really kind and very friendly. And she's so athletic. I love her style. And being Chinese, like, I'm always rooting for her. And Joanna obviously, has been there since the strawweight division was created. And then you have Valentina, who's an absolute weapon, just unstoppable. So, and I really love her style as well. So I'm honestly super excited that I get to be here and get to watch those fights live.
Do you think we see another fight of the year contender in Zhang Wei Li's fight? Last time was absolutely insane and pretty historic.
Yeah, I think it's entirely possible, but it's also possible one of them gets the knockout early. I think they're both very fired up, and they've both been working, and a long time in between fights really builds that hunger, I think, and like lets the body recover. And so yeah, there's no way you're not going to get a good fight out of that.
Who do you think's been the most important influence for you in MMA?
Oh, probably Joanne Wood at the gym, because I came over to Vegas, and I've I've been following her career, but I didn't really know her as a person. And then, now we just it's kind of, I guess, like sort of a surprise that we got on so well. And so now, just at the personal level, but also at the professional level, she's helped me out tremendously, not just as an inspiration, seeing her career and how it's developed, but also being able to be in her corner and see her go through the process. And, you know, uh, a veteran of the sport, and but also being able to know her at the personal level is, yeah, it's been like really rewarding and like really inspiring. And she pushes me in the gym and gives me really good work and is always there to be my training partner and around for, drilling, Shark Tank, or whatever that may be. So I'd say, yeah, I mean, she's just been there, anything that I'm going through, like, she's already been there. So she knows exactly what to say and exactly how to guide me and give me advice. And that's been incredibly valuable.
Is John Wood in your corner for this one?
Yeah. So he's en route right now.
Awesome. And before you came to the UFC, you got a beautiful round one finish. Where do you see yourself as stronger than Jocelyn Edwards?
Um, I would say I would just, purely based on watching our fights, I would say probably in the grappling aspect. But at the same time, I'm sure she's been working on her grappling a lot, having had two fights where she sort of lost on that front. So, it'll be interesting to see where things are. I come from a striking background, so I would say that is where I'm most comfortable. But grappling has been something that I've been focused on for the large part of the last couple of years. So it'll be interesting to see what's really going to come out and what I'm going to be able to use more of.
Well, always a pleasure to watch you fight and a pleasure to catch up with you. Thanks, Ramona. I appreciate it and best of luck.
Absolutely. Thanks so much, Andrew. Take care.